안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 저는 조소입니다. 감사합니다. Thank you for joining me again for another K-pop reaction. This time I'm checking out Everglow with what I believe was their group debut track and video, and it's called Bon Bon Chocolate. So let's give this a listen.
Everglow.
오랫동안 웅크렸던 어깨 펴고 일어나 너를 가둬 숨어있던 장치 밖에 새겨봐 새하얗게 물든 캔버스에 무지개꽃 너를 그려볼래 잠들었던 꿈을 깨워볼 차례 눈을 부신 날들을 기대해 꿈꿔왔던 너를 그려봐 너도 몰랐던 널 마주하게 되는 time 이 순간을 기다리 심장에 쿵쿵 떨림을 더 크게 외쳐세 준비가 됐어 준비가 됐어 Everything everything you gotta want my everything 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 you gotta want my everything 잠든 날 깨우는 빛 봉봉 chocolat go up to the sky 봉봉 chocolat 긴장해야 할 거야 꽃다발의 그곳 네가 만들기 전 작은 내게로 덮쳐라 그려왔잖아 매일 밤에 달콤한 너의 꿈을 always 끝이 없던 터널 끝에 숨겨둔 너를 위한 세상을 기대해 더 눈이 부신 빛을 따라서 더 높이 날아봐 baby 그게 너야 babe 이 순간을 기다리 심장이 쿵쿵 떨림을 더 크게 외쳐세 준비가 됐어 준비가 됐어 Everything everything you gotta want my everything 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 you gotta want my everything 잠든 날 깨우는 빛 봉봉 chocolat go up to the sky 봉봉 chocolat 느껴진 이 달콤한 꿈처럼 더 아름다운 햇살 쏟아질 때 더 가까워질 빛이 더 뜨거워질 꿈이 함께가 together 기억해 언제나 forever 이 순간을 기다리 심장에 쿵쿵 떨림을 더 크게 외쳐세 준비가 됐어 준비가 됐어 Everything everything you gotta want my everything 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 you gotta want my everything 잠든 날 깨우는 빛 봉봉 chocolat go up to the sky 봉봉 chocolat
Okay. I really enjoy Everglow's choreography. They're very dynamic. Yeah, they move in every like plane of movement. You know, they move in the vertical, the horizontal. They move laterally. They move diagonally. They really do have solid choreography. And so this is like right from the start, in other words, with the debut music video and track. Very much sort of a hip hop trap style, at least the percussion. It's very busy, it's very nice contrast actually throughout the sections in all the percussion, the change up of the rhythms. Some pretty like solid standard type of drum fills that are going on. So probably like synth, probably like drum machine type of percussion, but it sounds good. It sounds punchy. It's very it has tight pockets, with a little bit of like EDM synth bass going on, and then that sort of swept like the na 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 that has a fair deal of percussion. I mean, a compression on it. But it's part of the mix. It's done so that it fits where it needs to fit. Let's see. I guess it's pretty normal for the like the contrast in the parts, the vocal parts, as far as the verse to chorus. A lot of these maybe like later generation groups, I notice, tend to do something similar where it's a little bit simple, minimalistic in the verse section, and then it will change and perhaps get a little bit more syncopated or melodic or choral as it moves into its chorus section. Probably a as part of the generation, in other words, like it's stylistically informed by when these groups sort of come around. At least that's one interpretation of it. That's I've only looked at so many groups, so that's just sort of an assessment. Could be at least close to being right, but all in all, a very fun song and video. I believe that the song is basically about their excitement, their feeling towards being able to debut as a group, like you gotta want my everything, like, they're kind of just saying like, here we are, and Bon Bon Chocolate, I guess, like, it's a treat, like you're in for a treat, you know what I mean? Like this is gonna be something sweet and something that you're going to enjoy and want more of also. And so it works as a concept, good settings, and the choreography, it's I think it's a highlight of the Everglow performance, because it's very good. Whoever does the choreography, like whoever actually comes up with it for their videos, but then the way that it comes across when they perform it, everything, hand movements, the actual steps, like when you have a group doing choreography, visually they're manipulating a type of symmetry that's going on, because however many members you have, depending on how they move, who's positioned in the foreground, who's positioned in the background, a difference in their posture from, say, like one side to the other. Just visually you have this thing that's going on where that symmetry gets changed up a lot, but they're very they're very good at it. They're like adept at it, I would say. And yeah, so like fairly minimalistic, but again, it's a debut track, so it makes sense that it's a little bit more like straightforward with everything that's going on. Although the percussion is well done. It's well done, regardless of whether it's played or sort of like a drum machine type of percussion that's going on. But it's still very well written, right? These rhythms that are being used, and there's a lot of contrast throughout all the different parts as far as the percussion is concerned. It changes up, but it never really like feels like, it just sort of leaves you hanging somewhere and decides to run off and do something different. Like it's there's enough continuity there so that you can, keep with the beat, but it makes it fun by a little bit of syncopation, a little bit of, changing up the subdivisions of the beats. So it's a fun track. It's very fun. It's very danceable, of course, naturally. Let's see how this began. Yeah, see,
Everglow.
there's sort of like swept synth thing that's going on. I can't tell if that's. It sounds a little bit like an element of that is actually a vocal, like it is somebody going da 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 da. But I'm not sure if it is. It's like it's got a lot of signal on, like it's like EQ, compression, pitch shift. Like there's a lot of stuff done to it. It might be also sort of doubled with some kind of synth sound. It doesn't sound like pure synth. There's some aspect of it that seems like it is a recorded part, but could just be synth effect. So there's a descending sort of line that's going there, like da 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 da. It's a nice descending line. The way that you get a little bit more of a busy rhythm at the end of these lines, and then what people sometimes refer to as the ad libs, where she's kind of like putting a little bit of vocal fry in there. What's interesting about that? It's very common throughout. Like a lot of K-pop tracks, a lot of groups, they do that. They have so many voices, so it makes sense. You have somebody up front with the main vocal part, and then you have somebody else who's kind of doubling something, or people refer to it as ad-libbing. And to me, I don't know this for sure, because it could be that somebody just goes in there and kind of wings it and improvises. But when I hear things like that, I think about it as if the parts are written for instruments. And when you put it in that context, in other words, a lot of what might be considered ad libs are probably written, I would imagine. I would imagine that in the composition, you have the main vocal part that's going, and you can put, in a measure below it where something would be doubled, or where a little, short sort of phrase or short measure of something going on in the vocals would exist. That's completely possible, and I tend to lean towards that because of how perfectly everything always fits. You know what I mean? Like I think that it's that when I will say that there's consideration, it's very thoughtful as far as the composition and the way that these songs are written. That's one of the things, one of the aspects that sort of leads me to that conclusion, right? Because it all fits so perfectly, and there are people that certainly have the talent to do that, to just go in and sort of like feel when it's necessary to double something in a vocal or add something in a vocal. But with everything else that's going on, you know, a lot of times, some of your parts aren't even always there when a vocal is being recorded. Sometimes you might only have like the drum sound or some element of the rhythm along with the drum to keep track of the chord progression, like so that they know where they are as far as in the composition. But it won't, the final mix isn't going, while they're recording, it's not going to have all of the different elements that are present in the final mix. It just, these are the kinds of things that, like, when I sort of lean to that, a lot of that sort of, I don't know what you call it, like supplementary vocal work that's being done. I think it's a lot more of it is probably written than some listeners might think. You know what I mean? The delivery and the performance of it, you know, that's the fun part about music, is where you sort of make it seem like it's easy, right? Like that's what makes it cool. You're a cool musician or a cool performer when you can make it look easy. You can make it sound like, oh, I'm barely even trying, but this thing I'm doing, you enjoy it very much. But the the way the magic is done is that most of it's actually pre-planned, or they know exactly when it's coming, and they don't have to rely on like an instinct or some such. But it's good. What I'm just trying to get at is that that's what makes it good. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's something going on in the synth part that's like a crazy arpeggiation. I believe it's on a 16th note subdivision, and it's going like wild. It's just like, oh man, yeah, it's like it's pitched though. It's an arpeggio, so you can hear it going up and down the chord, and it's probably using the 7th because it's on the 16th note subdivision, so you can fit 4 different tones in there. But it's a crazy sound, super busy, rhythmically it's on the same pace as some of the hat work that's going on too, and already the percussion is starting to add all of those changes into it, and you can definitely feel the 4 count in this, right? But the percussion does little things where it just changes what it's doing, and then it comes back, and it's one of the enjoyable aspects of the mix. So see, like the right before this section here, there was classic sort of pop type of percussive rhythm was going on, where you got your emphasis on the 2 and the 4, right? Like you'd hear the kick on the 1 and the 3, right? And you get little double stops sometimes on the the 3, it would go boom, tap, boom, tap, right? But that snap, the snare hits that come on 2 and 4, that's where the accent is, right? When we go into this section here, there's a contrast because it's pretty much 4 on the floor. You're getting a 1, 2, 3, 4. Like there's every single beat is accented in this section. And this is one of the most consistent type of contrasting contrast in the patterns between the sections in your percussion parts. And that EDM bass, the bass hits on one, and it's just a whole note. It's just boom for all 4 counts. Boom, boom, like it, actually works really well. You know what I mean? That crazy arpeggiation is still going on. Oh, right there she did the upward inflection, right? So they go everywhere. They go like in every direction. It started off with the sort of descending line in the vocal phrasing, and when we get to this part here, she's adding that sort of upward inflection, right, to end those parts. This group, they just move in all directions, like with the choreography, with the vocals, the track, the mix moves everywhere. It's just it's nonstop, man. It's just like it. And later on, there's that section where the beat does drop, and you get most of the bass sound being prevalent there. And the difference between the two, right? Because it's so busy throughout up until that point, it really just sort of feels nice. You get that sort of break, that space that opens up, and yeah, it's like it's textbook. It's like exactly the way you want to do it.
Everything, you gotta want my everything. Chocolat, go up to the sky.
So there are 2 drops there, right? You can hear that boom, and then do da, do da, boom. Like there's one drop, and then there's another drop right after that. It's all in the phrasing, how the right feel to it. So it's almost like the first drop sets it up, and then the actual drop for when the chorus section comes around actually like has all the weight to it, has all the pull. Busy hat work, right? The hats adding in those little 16th note groups, and you got that I'm hearing, like a synth horn, probably. It's definitely got it's definitely wet with some sort of effect signal on there, on that signal. And then I'm hearing a vocal part doubled with that, but it's so like together, like the vocal part is like inside of the synth horn part. I'm hearing 2 different things. They're like all melted together as one thing, but I'm hearing 2 different things. Their vocals are really beautiful. They're very, so they're doing this thing again where once the pre-chorus, your chorus part comes around, it becomes choral then, like really where everybody's singing together. And in the parts before that, where you have like one person basically carrying the main vocal for a phrase or 2, there's a lot of overlap as far as the registers are concerned. The timbres feel, yeah, the timbre and tone, their voices feel a bit more like round. If I were to compare this to the Ive debut track, right, where I kind of said that those vocals felt very sort of narrow and like, there's a definite like space that they're holding. These vocals are a little bit, rounder. They take up a little bit more space per individual voice, right? So it's not such a concentrated like, and this might also just come down to the engineering in the mix. This could just be a production aspect of it as well. Their voices are, of course, awesome, right? They sound really, really great, fantastic. It's just a softer, I guess, vocal part in the mix, right? But nothing feels out of place. There's some processing on the vocals, like as far as EQ, as far as compression, naturally. There's a little bit of processing on it, and it might be a dubbed vocal track. That might have a little bit of like tuning on it, and then you'd have like the main vocal track where you're gonna basically concentrate your compression and your EQing, and then you have these two tracks right on top of each other in the mix. This is what I'm kind of detecting with my ear, but it sounds great. And when they get to this choral part, it's of course fills in all that space, and they sound, just as good as any other group when we get to the chorusy parts, right?
Everything, everything, you gotta want my everything. 잠든 날 깨우는 빛. Boom boom chocolat, go up to the sky. Boom boom chocolat. 느껴진 이 달콤한 꿈처럼 더 아름다운 햇살 쏟아질 때 더 가까워질 빛이 더 뜨거워질 꿈이 함께 together 기억해 언제나.
Yeah, there's definitely like two vocal tracks. What I'm saying, like per part, right? Like each one has their main vocal part, their main vocal track line, and then there's another that has some bit of a tuning on it. But it's I think it is what gives the vocal parts that roundness, actually, because a lot of these pitches that they're hitting they're very high, right? So that's the frequency is going to be smaller, right? Everything takes up less space. So if you stack that together, it's going to fill it out a little bit and make it a little bit rounder. And that's just one approach that you can take to accomplish that. There's many different ways to do it, but a lot of these vocals, they're light and they're sort of like it requires a metered approach, a measured approach. You can't lean into a lot of these parts. It has to be, they're like a little bit laid back, right? Like not like really sort of projecting that out. And it's just where the pitch sits and the actual parts, the way that they're written also. But it's a great way, as far as the production goes, to treat those vocals. There we go. Singing.
준비가 됐어 everything
see what I mean? They move on all lines, like everything. The choreography is really good, man. It's really good. They're doing all these things to manipulate the symmetry, to utilize all the space that's there, to dance with every part, right? With every like part of your body, in other words. But it's really good. Percussion went crazy with that. It was great. Just the right touch of changing it to contrast there. Very good. Very good debut. Man, these groups come out strong, man. Like, they come out really strong. You know, it's like they're just... They have, like, their concepts. It's like it's always right there. They're just about to, like, wrap their hands around it, you know, and really distill it. But I mean, these groups come out so strong, with their debut performances. So yeah, really, really, danceable track with some excellent contrast in the percussion. Very, like I said, very sort of, the delivery on the vocals is very measured. It's very careful. It's a lot of intent behind it. And the engineering, the way that the production treats that is very clever, ingenious, perfect for the kind of track that it is. And a nice blend of sort of hip-hop, trap work across the percussion with that EDM synth bass, and very interesting phrasing that's going on too as far as the vocals. Really, really nice. They move in all directions. The vocals go up, they go down, they go all around. The choreography does the same thing. The percussion in the mix does the same thing. Man, it's fun. It's really fun. To listen to. It's a treat, right? It is a treat for the ears. It is a little bonbon chocolate. It is a little bit of a little candy for you, right? It's a little something for you to just enjoy. It's a good debut, yeah. And I love the choreography, man. Whoever's, you know, the one who comes up with the choreography, they really understand, you know, the idea of it, the idea of using the rhythms, and the girls, they know how to dance, dude. Like they know how to move. Like I said, they dance with every part, just from head to toe. There's nothing that they aren't using in their performance of the choreography. So that's very, very cool. Another fantastic debut effort from a group. Everglow's good, man. Everglow's good. They're up there. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh man, a lot of these groups are just like really awesome. Man, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, you know, if you consider all the different groups across the generations, your biggest hope is that next generation is going to surpass, in some ways, hopefully in all ways, you know, the bar gets raised. But it's quite impressive, man, as far as these debut efforts from these groups. And it makes sense. The stuff that I've checked out for these groups that came later, right? That's their latest work. It's all solid. It's all really good, man. Just everything about it. But Everglow, I love the choreography. I love the performance. I love the production. They're a treat, man. Everglow, Bon Chocolate. Yes, it's very good stuff.